Good morning. Happy Monday, and welcome to your Monday morning metamorphosis moment. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I say it that way because you may be watching live, but some of you watch via the replay. But no matter when you watch, I'm so thankful that you take these 15 minutes out of your day to spend them with me. So thank you so much for joining. We're just going to give it a few moments for people to jump on. Again, this is your Monday morning metamorphosis moment, and today we are talking about labels. Can you see my labels? You see my labels? Hey Nancy, good morning. Good morning, Hope. Y'all see my labels? We're talking about labels today, and I hope that you can see my labels. They say smart, sex, past, coach, and they've got the dollar signs. Hey, Chandra, you know where you had better been. Good morning. Listen, we're talking about labels today, okay? And hopefully you can see all of my labels that we have today, because that's what we're going to be talking about, labels. But just real quick, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Happy Monday. It is your Monday morning metamorphosis moment where we do this every Monday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern for 15 minutes. So thank you for starting your day off with me. Thank you to those watching live or via the replay. Just to let you know who I am, I'm Andrea T. Martin. I am a life discovery expert, speaker, and coach, and I help women with a painful past full of their mistakes emerge from under their past and move forward, spread their beautiful butterfly wings to be all that God has designed them to be. So that's who I am, and very quickly we're going to jump right into today's topic, and we're going to talk about labels. That's right, we walk around wearing labels. What labels are you wearing? That's what I want you to think about today. What labels are you wearing? Are you wearing labels that you have placed upon yourself? Or are you wearing labels that people have put on you? That's what I want you to understand today. Hey, Jane, good morning. What labels are you wearing? Because so many times we wear labels that identify us, but it's not who we really are. We're living up to what people call us. We're living up to what we used to be in the past, but that's not who we are anymore. But yet we continue to wear labels. Now, labels aren't always negative words. Labels can be good words. So you see on my forehead, I have smart. Because growing up, I can remember my mom used to say, "Oh, my daughter is so smart." And she would be so proud of me. And I thought, well, okay. At that time, I was like a B, some C's, in school that I used to get. But my mom, hey, Ashley, my mom would be so proud of me and telling everybody that I was smart. And I noticed that, when she talked about being smart, she was so proud of me. She was so happy. And so what did I do? This is a true story, y'all, I promise. I was going to Delaware State University. It was Delaware State College at the time. And she was ranting and raving about my good grades and said I was going to college to further my education. And I got to college and I discovered the party life, y'all. I wasn't thinking about no schoolwork. I wasn't thinking about it. So I got to college that first year and I failed miserably. Well, you can't get a grade if you don't go to class, right? All I knew was, Lord, they have parties on campus and I can go. So needless to say, I got big fat F's, but I had in the back of my mind this label that my mom had placed upon me that I was smart. What did I do? I promise you, true story. Hey, Lisa, thanks for joining. I created a report card. I made a report card. I went to the supply store, the office supply store, and I got this special kind of paper, and I typed up a report card. I put Delaware State College on it, and I gave myself straight A's, made up some teachers' names. I think I may even went to the website and got some of the teachers' name, and I created this report card because I was going to show my mom I was smart, just like she thought I was. But that wasn't who I really was. Like I said, I was a B or C student. I handed her a report card that said that I had straight A's in my first semester of college. Hadn't been in class the first. But yeah, I handed her the straight A's. Well, my mom was beaming with pride. She started showing everybody this report card that I had made. How about my mom showed the report card to one of the senior officials at Dell State, and that person was like, "This ain't our report card." Well, I won't go into the rest of the story, but my mom was very heavy-handed, and that was one of the worst beatings I ever got in my life. I'll just leave it like that. But my point of the story is I was trying to be the label. I was trying to be what she had identified me as. And so again, labels are not always negative words. There can be some smart words, but it's a label if it's not who you really are. Listen, you see my dollar signs in my coach because we try to go out and we get the fancy purses and the fancy cars, and we try to be who we not to be. Good morning, Amy. We try to keep up with the Joneses. This is what I want to know, y'all. Who in the world are the Joneses? And why are we trying to keep up with them? But we wear these labels to pretend to be who we are. For me, sex was a big one because, see, I was out in the world being promiscuous, trying to find love, trying to seek love, trying to get that label that somebody loved me. But my label actually read sex and being promiscuous. And then a past. So many of us have a painful past that we can't seem to escape from, that we can't seem to come from under it. And so it's another label that we wear. Now, maybe your labels may say something different from what mine say today, but I want you to identify what your labels are. Who are you trying to pretend to be? It's not really you. Today, I want you to take the labels off. Stop being who everybody else wants you to be. It's time for you to be you. Good morning, Tammy. You got to be who you are. It's time to take these labels off. So what, you messed up in the past? That's not who you are anymore. So whether you've labeled yourself, whether somebody else has labeled you, whether you've labeled yourself to try to be who you're not by impressing the Joneses, like I said, who in the world are the Joneses? Can somebody tell me? Anyway, I digress. So listen, I just want you to understand, if you're wearing these labels, it's time to take them off and be who God designed you to be. Here's what I know, that you are a beautiful butterfly. And it's time for you to go through your metamorphosis process, to spread your wings. It's time to discover your wings and go through the process so that you can be who you are. It's time to start taking these labels off, y'all. It's time to take them all off and be who you really are. It's time. So don't go by what somebody else has identified who you are. You've got to be what somebody else has called you, I should say. You've got to be who God designed you to be. Let me just give you some quick steps on how to do that. The first thing is discover who you really are. Whether you got to get in the mirror and look yourself in the mirror and notice, see beyond the labels and recognize how beautiful you really are. You are not those labels. It's time to take the labels off and be authentically you. It's time. So first, get to know yourself. Get a journal. I'm big on journaling. Begin to write down your gifts, your talents, your skills. And I even encourage you to write down your weaknesses. Begin to get to know who you are. And then I want you to practice self-love. You've got to love yourself. In order to love yourself properly, you have to know who you are. And then there are two words that I want you to get into the habit of practicing. I am. And I want you to fill in the blank. I am. And for me, I do that with scriptures. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am royal priesthood. I am a chosen generation. I am an overcomer. I am the head and not the tail. I'm above and not beneath. I am. And you practice those I am statements until you start to believe them. You may not believe them at first, but you practice them until it gets in your spirit and you start to believe them. Write them down. Read them every day. Again, a journal. Just get some paper and write it down. I am. You are not the labels that you wear. And what I want you to recognize is that when you have a label, when people identify you or you place a label on yourself, usually there is a story behind it. There is an issue at the root of it. Good morning, Cousin Rose. Hey, Pastor Cheryl. Hey, Coach, good morning. There is usually an issue that is at the root of the label that you're wearing. It's time to address those issues. Yes, I had a sex sticker on the side of my face, but there was an underlying issue underneath of that sex issue that created that label. And you've got to deal with the issues. For me, I was looking for love in all of the wrong places, seeking love in man after man after man. Some men married, some men not. I was desperate. I put that label on myself. But then what happened was when I tried to take that label off, people slapped it back on me and said that I had to keep that label on me, that I had to wear that label because I had made those mistakes. I had caused those issues to come upon myself. So while I was trying to take the label off, people tried to put the label back on me. They started accusing me of stuff I hadn't even done. I was like, nah, I ain't even been with that man. Y'all making up stuff. But that label, they only saw my label. So again, deal with the root issue of that label that you're wearing. In order for you to effectively take it off, again, you've got to first identify your gifts, your skills, your talents, your weaknesses, and then you've got to practice self-love, and then the powerful words, I am. You've got to state who you really are in God. Like I said, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am an overcomer. And listen, I am not my past. My past does not define me. I am not a label. I am going to be who God designed me to be, a beautiful butterfly. That's what I know. So today we're going to take all those labels off. You saw me take off the labels. Good morning, Minister Jones. You saw me take off the labels because now it is time to be who God designed you to be. No more labels. The past, sex. Yeah, looking for love in all the wrong places. I'll talk about it. Yeah, that was me. Listen, I had my beautiful Coach bag. I had money. Trying to keep up with the Joneses. Somebody post in the comments and tell me who the Joneses are for real. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses. It's time for you to be who you really are. And again, labels aren't always negative words. They can be good words, but it still may not be who you are. Yeah, I was smart. Like I said, I was a BC student. But what I did was I created this report card, this Delaware State report card with straight A's, and presented it to my mom, and she busted my bubble, showed the report card to somebody that said, that ain't a real report card. And I was like, Lord have mercy, trying to be who I really wasn't. It's time to be honest with yourselves. It's time to take the labels off. It's time to be who God designed you to be. I want you to confidently and boldly state today who you are. I am the power of I am. And so whatever your I am is, and if you don't know where to start, you can't go wrong but by starting with scriptures in the Bible, by saying who God says you are. You cannot go wrong, and you go from there. And as you do your self-discovery process and discovering who you are, the labels will begin to fall off. That is your Monday morning metamorphosis moment. Today, we are taking off the labels. That's what we're doing. If you need help to take the labels off, I want you to connect with me. I send out a weekly email. Last week we talked about rejection. I'm in the process of creating a document that goes into detail about rejection, how to deal with rejection. I've created a document that deals with the labels that we wear. I want you to connect with me. Get on my email list. At the top of this video, you will see my website. I want you to go to the website, either push the contact button or sign up for my free ebook so that you can get on my email list. Let me help you go through your metamorphosis process. Let me help you take those labels off. Connect with me. I will send you an email. I won't overwhelm you. Let me send you an email as we walk through your metamorphosis process. It's time to take the labels off and be all that God has designed you to be, that beautiful butterfly that I know that you are. All right, I'm Andrea T. Martin, your life discovery expert, speaker, and coach, and I'm reminding you today, take the labels off. It's time. All right, have a very blessed day, beautiful butterflies, and I'll see you right back here next Monday at 8 a.m. Eastern. Thanks for joining. Make it a glorious week. Bye-bye.